Well, hey, howdy, hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to join me today. I really do appreciate it. My name is Ellie, and I'm a witch. This over here is my teaching assistant, Andy, and today is the Misheard History case that I told you guys that I was gonna do yesterday. I was gonna say it's Monday, but it's not Monday. I'm a little bit late with this one, but I'm gonna be talking about the superstitions that I was able to find. It's not too many of them. I wasn't sure which ones would have been of interest. So I'll go over some of them, and then if you guys have any that are personal or that you believe, then please let me know in the comments. That would be really cool to get some of your guys' input as well. I don't want to talk too much in this intro, so let's just go ahead and jump into the video. So first, just so that we're on the same page as to what superstition is, and we are using the dictionary definition for this, it is a belief or practice resulting from ignorance, fear of the unknown, trust in magic or chance, or a false conception of causation. Or a notion maintained despite evidence to the contrary. Now, I'm not saying that anyone is wrong or that the superstition thing in general is stupid. We all have our own beliefs, whether we know why we believe them or not, just sharing what I learned while researching. So the first superstition is going to be knocking on wood. Now most people know to knock on wood, or in most cases literally any hard object within reach, as to not jinx yourself after you say something stupid like, "It's been so quiet at work today." There are a few explanations for this belief. One comes from the Celt pagan culture, and they believed spirits and gods lived in trees. By knocking on the tree, they roused the deities that gave protection or a bit of luck. The other belief is Christian in origin, in which church patrons would knock on the wood of the cross, which is of course a symbol of the crucifixion. Next we have black cats and birds. Now this one generally makes me sad. Black cats deserve so much more love than they get, but this comes from medieval times. Now, black cats were associated with the Black Plague and with the devil thanks to Pope Gregory IX, who declared them an incarnation of Satan. They were also associated with witches, and both black birds and black cats were mainly considered familiars. To this day, it is said to be bad luck if a black cat crosses your path, and blackbirds, generally ravens, are considered omens of death. The bird superstition is a bit different in different parts of the world, though. In the UK, ravens are said to be negative omens, but there's also a belief that 6 need to be at the Tower of London at all times or the crown would fall. In Ireland and Scotland, the belief that seeing a magpie is bad luck, but only if it's alone. If there are severals, it's not a sign. Next is mirrors. The belief is that if you break a mirror, you'll get 7 years of bad luck. This belief started in Greece, but the 7 years part didn't come until Rome. Greeks believed that the reflections were not just a physical reflection, but also a reflection of one's soul. So if you broke the mirror, you would have trapped your soul. The Romans added the 7 years bit since it was thought that only poor health could cause a mirror to crack. It was also thought that it took 7 years to complete the cycle of sickness and renewal. This meant that if you cracked a mirror, you were on a spiral towards death. However, you could prevent this fate by gathering the broken pieces and burying them by moonlight. This belief of a trapped soul is why a lot of cultures have and still do cover mirrors after someone has died. This way their soul cannot become trapped in the mirror. Next is toasting with water. Now this is not one that I ever knew about, but I don't toast in general, so thankfully I'm safe. But this comes from German superstition but has origins in Greek mythology as well. It is said that spirits would drink water from the river of forgetfulness, which would cause them to forget their lives on earth. So only toast with water if you want to wish death on those you're toasting with. Next is walking under a ladder. Now this one's interesting because it is a superstitious thing when truly it's just common sense to not walk under a ladder for safety reasons. Now this one again has several origins. One is from the Christian belief of the Holy Trinity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit show that 3 is a sacred number. It also forms a triangle, and if you walk under a ladder or a triangle, you are disrupting the Trinity and you will receive punishment as a result. Others believe that the ladder resembled and represented gallows, and the chance of falling from the ladder helped solidify that comparison, so it was recommended to keep clear. Then the Egyptians avoided ladders as they feared you might accidentally catch a god going up or down the ladder. Next is the find a penny, pick it up. This belief comes from Rome. Being made from metal, it was valued by many ancient societies and was considered to have been sent by the gods for those they favored. If you found a penny, you were to pick it up and it would bring you fortune. If it is tails up though, you are supposed to flip it over and leave it for someone else, or you'll have bad luck. Now this has changed a bit as years have gone on. I was always told that it was a gift from a past family member, and personally I only pick it up if it's tails up, since tails is more lucky for me. Next is rabbit's feet being good luck. Now, amulets and talisman have been around for centuries as a way to carry good luck or protection with you at all times. This specific belief dates back to African folklore of hoodoo. It is specifically the left hind foot that is lucky. Now, it's believed that if you cut the foot off the rabbit over the grave of a criminal, it brings you luck, and the worse the criminal, the better your luck. Next is 666. Now, this eerie superstition begins in relation to the Bible. In the book of Revelations, 666 is a number associated with the beast and is considered the mark of the devil. It is still associated with the devil or evil deeds to this day. However, historians have said that the book of Revelations was written in code to the persecuted Christians at the time. This would mean 666 is likely meant to be the Hebrew equivalent letters for Emperor Nero. In more recent times, sets of 3 of the same number are considered angel numbers, each with a different meaning. 666 in this context is a reminder to focus on yourself and find balance. Next is cross your fingers. Dating back to early Christian beliefs in this case, it is said that 2 people used to cross index fingers making a wish. One person would be the wisher while the other was showing support. The tradition became something that you could do yourself, and just saying cross your fingers was enough support to the wisher. If you're like me, your next question is likely, what about crossing your fingers behind your back? That's supposed to negate a promise. So I looked into that as well. Crossed fingers in courts of Mosaic law in the Kingdom of Israel during biblical times would accompany the verdict with the phrase, "May God have mercy on your soul." It was essentially a prayer for the sinner in their hour of judgment. People then began to cross their fingers while telling white lies as a prayer to God to not judge them for the indiscretion. Next is umbrellas inside. I was always told to not open an umbrella inside as it's bad luck, but honestly it's kind of just a pain to carry an already open umbrella through the door. However, this belief dates back to ancient Egypt, where umbrellas were used to protect the upper class from the sun. This meant that opening one inside would be an offense to the sun god. Other countries do have their own versions of the belief. The Romans had a story where a woman opened her umbrella inside right before her house collapsed. England had a prince who accepted 2 umbrellas from a visiting king and died within a few months as a result. Next is salt over your shoulder. Similar to knocking on wood, this is meant to ward off evil, specifically the devil in this case. In Leonardo da Vinci's painting, The Last Supper, we see Judas, who betrayed Jesus. He seemingly spilled salt, and so this belief that you take salt and throw it over your shoulder to blind the devil waiting behind you. Now, depending on which version of the belief you follow, it depends on the shoulder you threw the salt over. In Rome, however, it had to do with the value of salt. It was not a common commodity, so if you spilled any, you were supposed to perform the salt-throwing ritual to prevent loss of wealth. And the last one that I will talk about is the 4-leaf clover. Now, most clovers are 3-leaf, so finding a 4-leafed one is rare, but it has roots in Christian and Celtic religions, though. Christians believe that Eve took a 4-leaf clover as she and Adam fled from the gardens after their fall from grace. The Celts believed that the clover offered magical protection that shielded you from bad luck. It was also said that you could use the clover to see fairies who play deadly pranks on children, and you'd be able to take action. And that is all that I have for you today. This is a super interesting one to get into, and why different cultures believe different things and seeing the origins. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find any real information about how many people still to this day believe the different superstitions specifically. I am going to link one source in the description box that showed the American belief in each specific superstition. It seems like all over the world it really depends on the superstition as to how many people would say they're superstitious, as well as not really acknowledging what is and is not a superstition and what just is something that people do, because like it's a superstition but it's just so ingrained in society, like saying bless you. That's technically based on a superstition. So it's very, very interesting because a lot of people wouldn't consider themselves superstitious until you bring up stuff like that. So yeah, I want to do this again next year, I think, around Halloween as well, but with some of your guys' superstitions, some more that I personally would like to look more into. This is just kind of like a general what most people believe or other cultures. Speaking of superstitions though, a little bit later, before this video, sometime today, there's a video that is going to be coming out about the difference between Tuesday the 13th and Friday the 13th and the superstitions kind of around that, and that will be day 4 of my Dark Deeds and Demons series. So if you came from that, hi. If you're going to that, bye. But yeah, if you guys have any other superstitions, or if I missed one, or if you have anything to add for those specific superstitions that I mentioned, please let me know in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you guys. But enough rambling. The other video that I'm putting out today is very, very short, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one enough to excuse that one being super short. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later. Bye!